everyone, my name's Catherine. Welcome back to my channel. I make videos about dyeing, sewing, and upcycling. If that sounds like something you're into, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Today, I'm going to show you how I made my version of the Galaxy t-shirt. I've been seeing Galaxy t-shirts everywhere and I think they're really cute. So I'm going to show you how I made this t-shirt. It is a multi-step process. I'm starting with a black t-shirt, taking color out, and then putting color back in. If you like this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button. And without further ado, let's get started. So the first thing I'm gonna go over are the supplies that you'll need for this project. Like I mentioned before, I'm using a cotton black t-shirt. I'm gonna need 2 trays for the bleaching and the ice dyeing, bleach, and I used a splashless bleach, hydrogen peroxide, rubber bands for tying up the t-shirt, soda ash to prep it before I dye it, a bucket to mix up my soda ash, and water, so it's about 3 to 5 gallons. I will put links down in the description for all of the supplies. I'm going to be using Procion dye, ice, you're going to need about 4 to 8 cups, plastic knives to sprinkle the dye, a screen strainer to sprinkle the dye, so I don't use one that I ever use on food, Synthropol to wash my shirt, and a drying rack, which is optional, but I always use a drying rack. So now it's time to start the first process. I'm going to smooth out my t-shirt, and this is a pre-washed t-shirt because I've had this for a while, but if you're using a brand new black t-shirt, make sure to wash it to get all the sizing off. I'm going to scrunch it with the peaks and valleys about the same height all throughout the whole t-shirt, and then I'm going to put some rubber bands around it just to secure it. I want it to be kind of almost like a disc shape because I'm going to put it in the bleach and I want it to be as flat as I can get it. So I'm going to put my rubber bands around it, and then I'm going to tighten those rubber bands up just to make sure I get really good resist when I put it in the bleach solution. So I'm just going around all my rubber bands and making sure that they are nice and tight and evenly spaced out. So there it is, and it's ready for the next step. Now I'm going to get it wet. This is just water, and I want to make sure that the piece is totally saturated. So I'm going to get my neutralizing bath ready before I put it in the bleach. I'm using 10 parts water and 1 part hydrogen peroxide in one tray, and then in the other tray I'm going to put the splashless bleach. You can see I'm not using that much. I just want to kind of get it on the sides of the shirt and let it soak in, and I'm going to turn it over and make sure the whole thing is covered in bleach. So I let it soak about 20 minutes, and you can see the fast forward of it, and it got to be this kind of like hot orangey color. When I squeeze it, you can see there's like dye coming out. Now I'm going to sort of open it and peek inside. I got a really nice contrast. You can see there's a lot of black t-shirt still in there, so that's great. You can always leave it in longer too, but I didn't want to leave it too long because the bleach can eat the t-shirt. So I'm putting it in the neutralized bath, and you can see it's really foaming, which lets me know it's working. And I'm just going to let it sit in that neutralizing bath. I swished it around in the hydrogen peroxide bath for a few minutes, and I'm taking it apart so that it can get into all the nooks and crannies of the shirt to make sure that the bleach does not eat through the cotton fibers. Bleach is really acidic, and it can just destroy fabric if you leave it in there for too long. So I really wanted to make sure I was getting all the bleach out and all the extra dye that had been just discharged. So the next thing I'm going to do is wash it and rinse it with Synthropol. That's going to get more of the bleach and the hydrogen peroxide out. So here it is, it's been washed and rinsed, and I got a really nice scrunch pattern actually. You can see the bleach is pretty extreme, and there's even variation within the bleach tones. So next I'm going to put it in my soda ash soak solution, and I used about 2/3 of a cup of soda ash and about a gallon of water. And this is going to prep the fabric to be ice dyed next, which is the next step of the process. So I've rinsed off and cleaned the tray that I was using for the bleach and the hydrogen peroxide, and I'm going to put my shirt in before I start to ice dye it. I'm going to scrunch it, and I want to make sure that the scrunches are fairly even. So I'm just going to put it at the bottom of the tray, and then I'm going to add my dye. I'm using Dharma Procion dyes, and I will put the colors that I am using in the description below. I also just wanted to take a quick second to let you guys know that I offer multiple online dyeing classes, live and classes that you can take at any time. So go to my website, Onyx Art Studios, and check out all the different classes and different times. So you can see I am generously applying some bubble gum first. It's the lightest color, so I'm going to start with that, and I'm putting it straight onto the fabric. Next, I'm going to come in with a little bit of glacier blue, and I'm just being careful to sprinkle it evenly throughout the whole shirt, and also I'm trying to get it mostly on the bleached parts of the shirt, just because that's where I want it to take the dye and where the dye is going to actually show up. Next, I'm coming in with amethyst, and I'm just kind of sprinkling it evenly. I don't like to use too much dye. I kind of want it to be melding together, and also I want that bleach and black t-shirt, the parts where that is happening, to kind of come through. This is the hydrangea that I'm using now. Next, I'm coming in with some strong navy, which is very powerful stuff. I'm just doing a little bit here and there, and I think that that's going to make the black and the blue kind of like meld together in a really nice way. So here it is, it's all dyed, and I'm going to put some ice on top now. I have a big chunk there, so I'm going to put smaller chunks and just cover the whole thing with ice. Trying to get this one smaller, but it just wouldn't go, so I'll just put it in the middle. And last but not least, I'm going to come in with a little raven and put it on top of the ice, and I'm sprinkling it with this little strainer here. Once I get it completely covered to my satisfaction, I'm going to let this sit overnight and not touch it. So this has been sitting overnight, and it's time to take it out and squeeze it out and rinse it with cold. This is always the most exciting part of ice dyeing, and I have a lot of ice dyeing tutorials on my channel. I'll put the ice dyeing playlist down in the description below, so you can check out those other videos if you are looking to explore more about ice dyeing. So you can see I got some really nice color variation, and it's always a little tricky to tell when it's still wet, but I really like how it mixes the warms and the cools. The warm is coming from that bleach discharge, and then the cools come from the Procion dye that I've placed on top. It is after I have rinsed it with cold and then washed it with hot and Synthropol, which is also known as dyer's detergent. It's on the drying rack. I'm going to wash it in the washing machine next with hot and more Synthropol, and then dry it on hot to set the dye. And then you'll be able to see the true colors of this shirt. Here it is after it's been washed and dried, and you can really see the color variations, and I think it looks really celestial, and it really looks like the sky. I really am happy with the way it turned out. So Let me know if you guys have done a Galaxy t-shirt and what kind of dyes you used for that. Thanks so much for watching. You can follow me at Onyx Art Studios, and you can check out my website for online workshops and other information. If you guys like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for a new video every Thursday. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!